for instance, me, I have a 10-year-old little sister, and every day me and my parents stress about sending her to school for what could happen to her.
That's
So
a real question. Let me ask you, does that school have an armed guard?
I'm not entirely
That's
sure.
why you're stressing.
That's a fair point.
Why do we protect our banks, our airports, and our sports stadiums with people with guns, but not our schools?
A heated debate between Charlie and these college kids, you understand, on gun control. So let's get on to the video and listen to their debate on the Second Amendment.
Can you hear me? Oh. Hi, Mr. Kirk. I'm a student here, and I really appreciate you being here today to speak with us.
Sure,
I care a lot about protecting children and know that you value life as well.
sure.
I understand that mental health and drug issues are a big part of the violence that we see every day in America. And I know that there's no black and white solution, but wouldn't implementing stronger background checks, especially for high-powered weapons like AK-47s, be a more reasonable and effective step to prevent school shootings and protect the children?
Sure, fine. So first of all, it is very difficult to purchase an AK-47. You're probably talking about an AR-15. That's probably what you're talking about, which is not an AK-47. We do have those background checks in a lot of states. I do have to ask, do you feel safe in California walking the streets at night in Los Angeles as a woman?
It depends which area.
Sure.
How about right near the downtown convention center?
Not necessarily, no.
So remember, our goal is a safe society. So just stricter gun laws does not always equal a safer society. That's just number one.
Yeah,
And-
that's what I said. That's why I said that. I know that mental health is a big issue.
Huge.
But I just, for instance, me, I have a 10-year-old little sister, and every day me and my parents stress about sending her to school for what could happen to her. So
That's a real question. Let me ask you, does that school have an armed guard?
I'm not entirely
That's
sure.
why you're stressing.
That's a fair point.
Why do we protect our banks, our airports, and our sports stadiums with people with guns, but not our schools?
I think that that's a fair point, and that
And I'm not discounting, the background check thing, but it's incredible moral perversion. You can't get in a Dodger Stadium without seeing 50 cop cars and people with guns everywhere. You can't go to LAX without going through basically a demilitarized zone. But you could go into a local Long Beach elementary school, and we decide to not protect our kids. So we protect our airplanes and our sports teams, but we don't protect our own children. And so you care about protecting children. I think that we should basically lock down these schools. People say, oh, I don't want our schools to be militarized. Well, then you don't want to protect our kids? You don't think you want your money to be protected at your bank? You want the payday lender to be protected, but you don't want your own children to be protected. So that's my number one solution to all that. And then I would end on to it. Listen, a lot of mental health problems. I have a different view. I think gun ownership is a right, not a privilege. And I don't think the government should get in the way of our right to be able to own firearms.
So what do you think that do you think that the government should get involved in like adding armed guards to schools, or why
Yes.
isn't this more talked about? 'Cause I
Oh,
feel like
in other states it is. Gavin Newsom would refuse to do this, of course. But in other states, after big school shootings, they have police officers parked outside. And in fact, school resource officers with guns have shown to prevent school shootings, limit school shootings, or even intervene before the school shooting happens. And it's going to show that these awful tragedies go from maybe 1 or 2 students dying, which is horrific, which it could have been 30 or 40 students dying, right? And so, again, at the fundamental core of it, which is your astute observation, almost every single case of these school shootings, there are some exceptions, they get the guns from their parents. It's also these kids that are in a very, very dark and troubled place. And almost always there's warning, there's troubling signs, there are issues ahead of time that are ignored. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you.
That's very interesting video listening to Charlie debating, and this very lady, and about Second Amendment and owning of firearms. Now, if you look at it, for instance, when she was talking about, her younger sister who is 10, and then when she go to school, sometimes, they became worried, if she's gonna come back, or not, looking at, some of these shooting situation that has been happening, lately. But then if you look at it critically, I think that maybe probably the schools should do more, just like how Charlie says, they should do more by maybe probably increasing the number of the armed guards You understand? Yeah. They should increase the number of the armed guards so that at least they can be able to at least keep these children, you understand, safe. And I think that that's the Western, you understand, value, you understand, system, of course. And they want to keep children, you understand, safe. Even though it didn't happen during COVID. But nonetheless, we are not talking about COVID. But you'll be with me that, you understand, most of these shooting, you understand, systems, sometimes, you understand, that do happen. You hear that, oh, this person was a veteran and then he come back. And I don't know how some of them, you understand, used to retire and then they still make them keep those firearms. I think that it doesn't make sense. Once the person is no longer, you understand, in service with the government, then the person don't have to, you understand, also, you understand, these firearms, because some of these people, you understand, that have been in war zone, a lot of trauma, and some of them might be on medication, and then maybe sometimes, maybe probably the person become depressed and started to remember some of the things that happened while they were on service. And then you could see somebody can decide to pick up a gun depending on his state of mind, and then could end up, you understand, maybe probably murdering, you understand, innocent people, which is not helping matters. Nobody deserves to die, you understand, in that kind of situation. So we don't have to say that because we want everybody, you understand, to have rights to own firearms, and then because we don't want to step on somebody's right, and then therefore people are using it, you understand, day by day to kill one another. It doesn't help. It doesn't make sense. So to me, I would say that, you understand, maybe government need to maybe probably review some of these things or make it harder, you understand, for people. If maybe probably somebody retired or even tried to acquire a gun, at least there should kind of be some kind of interview to know the purpose to which that person want to own a gun. And then maybe probably if the reasons are legitimate, then therefore maybe probably the person should have access to it. But if it's not legitimate, then they don't have to go ahead selling guns to people, because at the end of the day, people are buying it and then using it, you understand, against, you understand, one another, which is not helping. At the end of the day, America is not at war. Or no any other countries directly attacking, you understand, America, that people need to own a gun. Even in the local communities, we all have, you understand, some of the armed guard, the sheriff, the police, and then also the military, you understand, trying to defend, you understand, the country from any other external, you understand, aggressors. I think that those ones are enough. But going ahead of people, you understand, owning these guns, you understand, is not really helping matters. Some people might be depressed and going through a lot or refuse to take their medications, and then therefore carrying these guns and murdering innocent children or even people, you understand, in their communities. So it's not really helping matters. So I think that just like how maybe probably before somebody have right to vote, you have to register and you have to be at the age of 18. Likewise, if somebody want to acquire a gun, at least it should be of age. And then they also try to look at, you understand, the person. There should be some kind of maybe IQ test to know if the person, you understand, really qualified to own such a gun, and then look at the reasons to why the person want to own the gun. Then before that gun, you understand, can be licensed, you understand, to the person. I think that it would be better so that that can be able to like help, you understand, to fix some of this problem. Even in most of the third world, most of them don't even have that right, you understand, to own a gun. And then if you look at, you understand, this kind of situation of school shooting, they don't really happen, you understand, in the third world. Talk less of, you understand, in America, you understand, itself. So some of these things are not supposed to be happening, especially in this very 21st, you understand, century. But when you look at, you understand, things like this, you understand, these are very delicate topics that people don't even want to converse, you understand, about this, because you can end up, you understand, stepping on people's toes, you understand, especially this very second amendment. But nonetheless, let me also hear your thought and opinion, you understand, concerning this, and may God bless you as you do so. And what do you think, you understand, the federal government, you understand, needs to do, especially when it comes to this gun control? Do you think that, you understand, they should confiscate, you understand, some of these guns, or we should still continue by saying that people, you understand, have right, you understand, to own a gun, and then this is a situation whereby is now making some of us, you understand, to feel unsafe? Well, let me all hear from you, and may God bless you as you do so. So you have a wonderful day, and goodbye.